100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
What is a heat pump? I'm Jen from Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating. We get this question all the time. Heat pumps are the most energy-efficient heating equipment available. With the price of oil and propane going up, switching your heating system will save you money. Not to mention all the rebates and tax incentives that are available. Our experienced team at Standard will evaluate your home and design a system that's right for you. Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating. Call us today at 315-859-6292. We promise to save you money.
After 32 years as a Mason, Steve retired right before the holidays, but that career took a toll on his body, and he never slept well. He said he was going to get a new bed, but he and his wife, Angela, never made it in before the holidays. They came into Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Red Lobster and selected a Q9 King number bed, flex head. Steve liked his side firm. He was a 40. We elevated his head and feet and put the massage on high. He said he hadn't felt that comfort in years. Angela, who'd been sleeping in a separate bed because Bill couldn't sleep through the night, liked it softer. We set hers on 32, elevated her head a little less, her feet a little higher, and put the massage on low. They said it was perfect. They were thrilled to find out we held over our promotion of $1,000 prepaid Visa card or a 75-inch flat screen TV. Steve got the TV. It was affordable because they qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down. Make that trip today or call 1-800-NEW-BED.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet, fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good times. Good times. We were here. It feels like we were just here, and we kind of were last night.
Yes, we were.
Between 5 and 6 last night, we were here for a Chamber of Commerce after-hours event, and it was really kind of a pro local business deal.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it was nice.
How about the news with the Miami Dolphins? That's big news for the Bills game this Sunday.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. The NFL's got a bit of an issue on its hands. First of all, Tua's got the 3 concussions so far this year, which is, I think more than they say you should have in your career than you want to have in one season. So he's been ruled out. I'm almost surprised that there was serious consideration that he might even play this weekend. And then their backup, Teddy Bridgewater, has a finger issue. He's still dealing with that, so they look like they're going to go with the third-string guy. And then similar situation, I should say, with the Baltimore Ravens. Starting quarterback Lamar Jackson has a knee issue. He has not been practicing or playing. Their backup has an injury as well, so they're going to have to rely on the third string. Not a situation the NFL wants to be in with injured quarterbacks as they enter the postseason.
Tough game, though, right? I mean, it's really Tua's injury. I mean, the hits that he's taken this year are. I'm not sure he should have been given an opportunity to get a third concussion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Some pretty cool local stuff. Everybody's running with the story of the apology from the horror writer
Stephen King.
Stephen King, and it's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek apology, I guess, but it's in newspapers all over the state today. Paying attention to Stephen King's apology. Well, I should have picked on Cleveland or somewhere else, I think is what he said. And then yesterday, the Today Show.
Yeah, so he never apologized?
It wasn't, I'm sorry for offending Utica. Maybe I should have picked on Cleveland or somewhere else. And then he smiley face emoji.
He did say, I'm sorry, though?
I'll tell you that in a second. I'll pull it back up.
Because there's a difference, right? It's like if Davey punches me in the face and I go, Davey, why'd you do that? And he goes, I should have punched Bill instead. He didn't apologize. He just said I should have punched somebody else.
I almost feel like there was sarcasm in the apology, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, it brings it to me. Stuff like this is good for Utica.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and as I think we said last night when we were talking about it, he spelled the name properly. Yeah. And of course, his daughter was a pastor at a church here over on Clinton Road. For several years, and that certainly brought him to the area. And then yesterday, when they were talking beer on the Today Show, here's what Al Roker had to say yesterday.
Call me out, 40 hands. Give me a 40. All right, what you got in the forecast? I got some Utica Club. That's a good beer. I like that Utica Club. Well, today, climbing the 2022.
How about that?
That's cool.
All it takes, he had a severe illness and is really just back this week. He was on with Lester Holt the other day talking about what it was, and it seems like some sort of a unique illness that really put his life in danger. But Al Roker is back talking about Utica Club. Pretty cool.
That is a good thing, and hopefully Al Roker doesn't tweet later today, you know what, I should have called out Geneseo. Correct,
yeah. Here's the... here's what Stephen King had to say. Initially, it was the speakership talking about the Republicans trying to pick a Speaker of the House. The speakership is like the old joke. First prize is a week in Utica. Second prize is 2 weeks in Utica. And, of course, you would expect everybody to jump on that here, which we did. And... things like anyone who's been to Utica knows how funny this is. Anyone who hasn't is just lucky. There were people on there that were saying positive things and negative things about Utica. But he said, I sincerely apologize to all of the people from Utica I offended. I guess I should have said Cleveland or Salt Lake City. He tweeted, adding a crying while laughing emoji.
Yeah, that's an apology.
Yeah, I guess. A little tongue-in-cheek there. But you know what? The fact is that he's getting attention for Utica. We really should be pretty pleased.
Yeah.
King in Utica said, let's see, the main character in King's 1987 sci-fi book, The Tommyknockers, was from Utica, and his daughter, Naomi King, was a minister at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica from 2005 to 2007. Stephen King has also previously joked about getting the ideas for his stories from the city located 50 miles east of Syracuse. This is in today's Post-Standard. Utica, said King in 2016, I tell people I go to the used ideas store in Utica is where I get my ideas. So I think that people should just put a little smile on the face and say, thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Is anybody really sour about this? I hope not. I mean, come on.
If they are, it's a bit of a weird overreaction, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and not only that, the city 50 miles east of Syracuse, isn't that Rome?
It might be. Yeah, it might be. I think it's probably land somewhere just in between. Anyway, so Syracuse, Davey, had a big game last night. Looked really good. I mean, we're not used to Syracuse having a convincing win, are we?
No, and this is a Tier 1 victory for them.
Yeah, that's a big
big
win.
victory against Virginia Tech. They came out strong.
Brandon Williams is back in the news, asking for his fellow New York representative George Santos to resign.
Yeah, how about that situation?
I wish I'd have asked him about that the other day, because he probably would have said that when we spoke with him on Tuesday or Monday, whichever day it was. Interesting. How about this? You know, there's all this talk about election fraud and the implication that it's Democrats, right? If there's election fraud, it has to be a Democrat, right? Well, according to President Trump, a former Republican county elections commissioner in the Albany area has pleaded guilty yesterday to applying for absentee ballots. Jason Schofield, who is from Troy, resigned last month from the Rensselaer County Board of Elections, admitting that in 2021 he unlawfully used the names and birth dates of voters in connection with 12 absentee ballot applications that he submitted electronically to the New York State Voter Absentee Ballot Application Request Portal. The 43-year-old admitted he falsely certified that he was the voter requesting each of the absentee ballots. Well, that's definitely a no-no. And I guess one might say the system worked because they caught him.
Yeah, and again, he was a Republican. Come on.
As you say, Republicans just don't do that. What are you doing?
I don't say that.
I'm just saying, as you say.
Oh, as you say.
Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
As you say. As people say.
Yes.
In general.
It's both sides are guilty of it, and in this case, it's a Republican, but it gives everybody really a bad reputation.
And I do think that it's more rare than anything else, but I also think that when you're electronically filing for a ballot, you are everything is documented, right? You're completely documented. Tiny Powers, I'm trying to bring up, I don't have any, I do have a sheet here. Now I have it. Now I see it. And can you fix that for me, because it's blocking the whole thing. I can't see that she's on. The FAA yesterday is saying it might have been an error in programming, or a glitch in programming that might have caused the entire shutdown of the airways in the United States. In fact, it's the first time everything has been shut down, and it lasted for a little more than an hour. The first time everything has been shut down since 9/11. And Tanya Powers on the line right now. Good morning. What do we know here this morning on this?
Well, what we're learning is that the FAA says a preliminary review traced the problem yesterday with that computer outage to a damaged database file. They said that they don't think there's any evidence of a cyber attack. The investigation is, of course, ongoing, and it started yesterday morning during the thick of things.
But, initially everybody was talking possible cyber attack. That's not the case, though.
No. I mean, yeah, people had kind of went wild with the speculation yesterday on, whether it could be a potential cyber attack. I think that was also something that was at the beginning of things. I know that nothing has been ruled out, according to what we had learned, from the White House press secretary, as far as, on a federal level. I know the president had told the transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, to report directly to him regarding the causes and what was happening with that yesterday morning. Of course, that is the first thing a lot of people's minds went to. Was this a cyber attack? Is this what's responsible for, making this system go down? according to the FAA, the file, that damage database file, that they believe that was the problem.
Yeah.
They say it corrupted both the main system and the backup, which is why, I'm sure that was probably the next question a lot of people had was, wait, don't they have a backup system? Yes, they do. But apparently it corrupted both of them, which left them unable to send these messages. What this does, this outage prevented pilots from getting safety notices that are updated, that are sent through this notice to air missions system. It warns pilots of hazards. There could be like equipment outages or a runway closure or weather or, all different kinds of things that might impact the safety of a flight.
So this thing went down yesterday morning just as busy commuter flights were heading out of airports. It certainly sent shock waves through the scheduling system. There were delays all day long because of it.
Oh, yeah, and there's going to be already, again, today we've already learned that there's several hundred flights delayed today. About a few dozen have been canceled at this point for today. That's according to FlightAware. There are some of the major air carriers. Delta, I know, is one of those. Southwest, United. They said that they're going to be back to normal operations today, so hopefully it won't take a whole lot longer to get things ironed out. But you're right. I mean, it affected the time of morning when you've got those early, 5 and 6 a.m. flights that are usually full. If you've flown on one of those, they're usually packed.
Well, and those are the flights you want to take because they're never delayed. Because that delay early in the morning will set off delays all day long. So, but of course, that was not the case yesterday. Tanya, as always, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Sure, thanks.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. Yeah, it's like the rule is, at least my wife's rule, is we should always try to get an early flight. As much as a pain in the neck as that is, because sometimes you're traveling at 4 o'clock in the morning to the airport. But those are the ones that usually go out on time.
Well, that's
and when they don't, it sets the pace for the entire day.
That's a good tip, I guess, for traveling. I didn't realize that.
That is the last thing you want is the last flight to go out, because it usually ends up being the very last flight going out, way late. We've sat in airports late at night several times. Okay, what else did I want to bring in here this morning? Some good stuff. A busy kind of morning. Bob Cardillo is running for mayor in Utica, and don't we have? We did not get him.
No, he's moved to early next week.
So there are now 3 candidates running for mayor in Utica.
Yes, Frank DeBrango, a council member, announced yesterday. Of course, Robert Cardillo announced early on, I think the first week in January. And who am I missing in between there? Oh, Celeste Friend, who joined us earlier this week.
So Cardillo did arrange something with the Utica Police Department where he did a drive-through and rode around at night as police they had a couple of big calls they were dealing with, and Cardillo was in the squad car. Do we still call it that? Riding around with police. He wants to talk about that. Feels that one of the big problems that needs to be dealt with for the city of Utica for the next mayor it needs to be dealt with is public safety. So we'll speak with Cardillo coming up in a little while. All right. There is a list out of the top schools in the region, or in New York State, actually, top schools in regards to Regents exams.
Okay.
So on the list of
haven't we canceled these yet for the sake of equality?
I thought they were being canceled, to be honest with you, but obviously last year they all did Regents exams. So here we go. So the best ranking in our region, upstate, is Fabius Pompey in Onondaga County. They rank number 15. Cazenovia Central School. In Madison County, I believe that is, ranks number 57. Chittenango ranks number 57. And New Hartford ranks number 57 in the top 100 list of Regents exams for high schools in upstate New York.
Well, let me do my math here.
Or in really all of New York State, I should say.
Let me do my Regents math here. 3 of them came in at number 57?
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little odd, but okay.
Well, no, because their score is tied, so they tied at 57th, and the next up would have been, I think there's probably 11, 12 schools that tied at 57th. It's a little more than that because the next up is 40th, ranked 40th. Just like anything else, if you have second place is tied, you go from first to second to fourth place.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So that there's your numbers locally and your numbers regionally. It is in New York State, but I think you're correct. I do think that there is going to be they're not going to be using Regents the way they did, or they don't have to take Regents exams. I forgot what the story is. And I don't have kids at that level anymore, so I pay very little attention. You, however, should pay careful attention. In another 5 years, 6 years, you'll be dealing with those examinations.
Yeah, fortunately right now, and again, he's only in grade 2, but my son does pretty well with his
second grade.
Sometimes behavior is an issue, but math and spelling especially, he does well with.
Look up in the sky. A rare comet is set to brighten up the night sky for the first time in 50,000 years.
No.
It is a green comet. The newly discovered comet, C-2022 E3ZTF, was discovered last March when it was within Jupiter's orbit. The greenish cosmic snowball has not soared close to Earth since the last ice age, according to NASA. Starting this week, stargazers have a chance to catch sight of the elusive comet. No telescope will be needed. It will have a bit of a green glow to it.
That's really cool.
Well, anywhere else but in the Mohawk Valley where all we get is cloudy skies.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We probably won't see much of it. The comet will be closest to the sun on January 12th and nearest to Earth on February 2nd. So it's sometime between now and mid-February or so where you'll have a chance to see it. But our best chance at seeing it will be on February 2nd.
So did you say it's orbiting another planet at this time, but that was discovered last March? Does it take that long for them to go from planet to planet or to cross our sky?
I know very little about this, so I would hesitate answering. It's one of those things where I paid careful attention in school, but that was a long time ago. Comets are notoriously unpredictable, experts say, but it is this one continues its current trend in brightness. It'll be easy to spot with binoculars, and it's just possible it could become visible to the naked eye. Most likely closer to February 2nd when it is closest to Earth. For the best chance of catching early sight of the comet, sky-gazing people in the northern hemisphere, us, should plan to stay up past midnight. The comet will most likely be visible to the naked eye at night towards the end of January, as we said, beginning of February, and it won't be that difficult to see.
I can't wait. I hope we
can
see it. I'd love to see it.
A green glow. And you know what? With the weather the way it has been, you literally could. We had a neighbor that would in the middle of the winter, would put a lounge chair, like a lawn chair, and lay right out there all bundled up and wait to look at the sky. Because it seems like there's nothing like the cold winter clear sky when you really get to see a lot of that stuff. But this green comet, it's the first time we'll have a chance to see it in 50,000 years.
Yeah, and you're right. The cold, clear sky, this time of year does seem to be more clear than June or August or something.
The Supreme Court has ruled that in New York, the gun laws here can and will remain in effect as the court battle continues. Mm-hmm. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court ruled that all provisions of the gun laws, the strictest in the nation, by the way, we love being first here, remain in effect as further appeals are pending, according to a statement from Justice Alito. The ruling upheld a temporary stay from the Second U.S. District Court of Appeals issued in early December. The stay put on hold most of the ruling made by the Syracuse-based U.S. District Judge Glenn Sotheby, who ruled several provisions of the new law unconstitutional. But for now, it will remain; those laws will remain in effect. And more confusion for gun owners in New York.
And wasn't the part of the ruling that the challenge has merit, but they're going to let the legal battles play out? I don't know.
I believe that's how they worded it. This was interesting, something you normally don't see, but the State Police Special Investigations Unit Tuesday raided the headquarters of the New York State Troopers Police Benevolent Association and the nearby office located in Albany. It's unclear whether the raid also targeted the Surgeons Group, which, like the Signal 30 Benefit Fund, is a fundraising arm of the State Police PBA. But that's not something you normally see, right?
No.
Sometimes, wherever you find money, it almost seems like you find someone who struggles with the organization of money.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where is that located?
That is in Albany.
Wow.
Yeah. What else? This was something Tucker Carlson was all over about a Canadian teacher. Do you want to get down this road? A trans teacher who, this is in Ontario, high school teacher who wears giant prosthetic breasts because he is now a she. I'm probably screwing this up. But some parents are deeming this to be somewhat obscene, and it may be causing a new dress code policy change for more professional attire. On January 3rd, the Board of Trustees passed a motion requesting the Director of Education develop a professionalism policy to maintain appropriate and professional standards of dress and decorum in the classroom. So it should women or men who see themselves as women make sure they cover up enough so that nothing protrudes through the shirt. Do you follow me?
I do. Look, I don't know that we need a special rule, although ultimately that's what it will come to. Unfortunately, I think they're trying to create a law, a rule to cover one specific situation. Have you seen the teacher?
I've not. I didn't.
They
They
are obscenely large.
Yeah,
it looks like.
I did see the general picture. I didn't look quite as close to see if there was anything protruding through the shirt.
It looks like this. I guess she, but it's a trans woman, has stuffed the shirt with like basketballs, like bigger than basketballs. It's obscene. And I just look.
However, there are women who have breasts that are that large.
Can I ask you a question?
Is that obscene, though? Therein lies that's what makes this kind of tricky, I think.
Right. So, but I don't know that I've ever seen a naturally born woman who didn't have an augmentation done with what this person's walking around with.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you a question, and I didn't want to go here, but I guess I will.
Well, I've seen some Eddie Murphy movies where he plays many characters, and he always seems to go down that road when he's playing like an old aunt or something.
I mean, what if...
But that is a comedy, usually R-rated movie.
What if you had a teacher that was born a female and became a man, and when she came to the classroom, there was this bulge from the hip to the ankle protruding out of the pant leg, and it was totally prosthetic. Like, why do you need to do that around children? I just don't understand. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think generally I would not have an issue with this, but it almost looks like it's intentionally being done to draw.
I get what you're saying here. Where I would be cautious is saying that almost every woman I know that it has such large breasts goes through augmentation, because I don't necessarily think that's true. However,
I didn't say every woman that I know. I'm just saying I don't think that you could find. I don't know. You've seen the picture?
I have.
I would imagine a woman with natural, who is naturally that large, would have significant back issues. Might be wheel bound.
Yeah.
That's
how. Dave, you remember? I'm rescuing you. Dave, you remember Punky Brewster? Remember her? She had terrible back problems.
Yeah.
And had to have surgery to prevent those back problems.
Soleil Moon
That's kind
Frye.
of what you're talking about, Shell.
Soleil Moon Frye was her name.
Hey, can we switch to the NFL?
We can. Have you seen the picture?
I have.
Okay.
It's
a bit outrageous.
I just think because the person is, I understand. It's almost as if this this person not only wanted to be a woman, but wanted to be a very particular woman, right? With enormous breasts. It's quite a topic. But I do want to tiptoe away from the tulips, if we could, for a moment.
No, hang on, though. Hang on.
Okay. All right. We're going in. We're going all in. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Yes. Okay. I mean, but I
know that's appropriate for
but
a
I've
third
seen,
grade classroom.
But I've seen. I don't know how that would be handled if that woman were, because there are women that I've seen on TV, usually on reality shows, that have that enormity. And I wonder how that would work if, with that enormity, if they were to sit down in front of the panel of hiring committee, the hiring committee at the local school district, if that topic would come up. Right? I mean,
I don't know.
That makes Dolly Parton look like a
flat-chested, yeah.
a tiny woman. Yeah.
A tiny dancer.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? NFL postseason. I've completely forgotten about this, but the rule change happens in the playoffs. So the playoff games, there no longer can be what happened to the Bills last year with Kansas City.
That's right. So the change is you get a chance to possess the ball regardless, even if the other team scores a touchdown.
Even if the other team scores a touchdown, what happened to the Bills last year cannot happen this year, now that we've reached postseason. So the rules are that both teams get the chance to at least have an offensive play. So let's say that first touchdown is scored, Kansas City. The Bills would have had the chance to come back and answer that touchdown. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the rules state that now the next person who scores wins the game.
From there, yeah.
From that
there,
point.
yeah.
So the next possession would go, and if you recall back to that Kansas City-Buffalo game, it was unbelievable. Touchdown followed by touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams were scoring at will. So it's almost as if you kind of would have felt like even if the Bills had gone down and scored, that Kansas City probably would have answered with a touchdown. Maybe in 13 seconds.
Yeah, it was just incredible. It was one of the greatest games ever. Unfortunately, your Bills had to lose. Smitty, nothing to add there? I thought you were going to chime in on the...
No, he's disgusted by it. He's still looking at the picture. Don't look at that picture.
I haven't even seen it.
Oh, don't tell me that.
I'm serious.
I believe you.
I'm serious. I have not seen it.
All right, there we go. And there's Allison Williams. Are you familiar with her? ESPN reporter Allison Williams?
Yes.
She is suing the ESPN and Disney, which is the parent company of ESPN. Do you know why she's suing? It's over the vaccine. She was let go because she refused to get the vaccine, and they let her go. So now she's suing over that. I wonder where this goes, because it did seem that during COVID, especially at the height of COVID, companies were given the ability to say, hey, you're required to be vaccinated here, or you lose your job. I'm not sure what she can get out of this.
So I can't remember the outcome, but New York State healthcare workers recently brought this issue up. And I want to say, let's see here. The Supreme Court blocked a challenge to New York's requirement that healthcare workers be vaccinated against COVID-19.
I believe the Supreme Court upheld and here's why they will have to. And this is why this woman, I don't think, can win anything, because schools already have mandates for vaccines. So you can't say you can't legally mandate the COVID vaccine, but you can the polio or the measles. So it's a bit of that goes down that slippery slope road.
This is via Forbes. New York City has set the tone when it comes to coronavirus vaccine mandates for workers. Yada, yada, yada. A recent case from the New York Supreme Court in Richmond County may have laid out a roadmap for unvaccinated employees seeking to challenge requirements. It may also give clues to employees looking for ways to ensure their employment vaccination mandates survive legal challenges. So there's a whole explanation here. October 20, 2021, New York Department of Health and Mental Health Hygiene issued an order requiring all New York City employees to show proof of at least one coronavirus vaccine. by October 20 of 2021. On December 13th of that year, the New York Department of Health and Mental Hygiene issued another order expanding the vaccine mandate to private sector workers. I'm looking for the court ruling summary here. I apologize.
But I do believe they upheld the right of institutions and even governments. You're seeing it in the military as well, the requirements in the military to get the COVID vaccine. But it goes beyond that because it's not just the COVID, but they're required to get other vaccines that have been, this is already passed through the court system.
On this past October 2022, the court ordered all terminated petitioners be reinstated on October 25th, and they had to collect back pay.
Well, and what's interesting about this is that there's a vaccine expert out there. His name is Dr. Paul Offit, a vaccine expert, not an anti-vax person, but a vaccine expert, asking the question whether young, healthy people need another COVID booster. And it is a debate right now, especially after Moderna came out and announced that the information that they gave to the government on the effectiveness of their vaccine, they left stuff out. And they left enough out. They left out the information that would have lowered the expectation of the vaccine. So I think with that, it certainly makes people a bit suspicious and less trusting. So here's this vaccine expert saying, I'm not sure that kids need to get it at this point.
Because I'm just...
the update.
COVID-19, the week of Christmas there, I had COVID. So I guess this is a question I need to ask Dr. Hall, but so I'm thinking I'm not getting the next jab or whatever, right? For at least 6 months or something. Why would I? I just had the latest.
At least I think it's 3 months or maybe a little longer than that.
I have to ask him next week.
Michael this morning, at this point it's been proven the vaccine neither stops transmission or to a large extent doesn't even stop you from getting it. It only keeps you from going into the hospital. If that's the case, how can you stop a person from doing their job? Because apparently it doesn't matter if you've been vaccinated or not to pass it on to others. And it does seem that way. Think of the number of people in the very beginning, it seemed to be more effective until these variants came around. And by that, I mean, when you look in the hospital, oftentimes the number, and if you recall, every day we had Dr. Hall on, and every day he gave us the latest numbers at the hospital. And there came a certain point where, if you recall, in the beginning, the people that were in the hospital were almost entirely unvaccinated. But then, as time went on, there came a time where it was almost 50-50, and sometimes there were more vaccinated people in the hospital than there were unvaccinated people. So, not something that you can ignore, but it is what it is. The other comment he had. I think the mayor of Utica is putting out a press release for a book burning event at Stephen King's Books in front of City Hall. It'll be followed by a sweep up of the ashes. Good stuff there, Mike, this morning to start off. Thursday, January 12th. And, keeping track, tomorrow is Friday the 13th. The first Friday the 13th of the year. Got a break. News coming up straight ahead on WIBX.
If I could be you.
And you could be me? For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the new Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them at 315-724-6767. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies. We make life easier.
Nothing fights the winter blues like a delicious and satisfying meal. Luckily, Omaha Steaks makes it easy to stock up and fill your freezer with flavor. Save on perfectly portioned favorites, easy meals, and so much more with Omaha Steaks Freezer Filler Sale. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code TREAT at checkout and get $30 off your order. That's $30 off an endless variety of gourmet choices. Visit omahasteaks.com, use promo code TREAT at checkout to get that extra $30 off your order. Minimum order may be required.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WIBX 950 Utica, Rome. W295DI Utica, Rome.
I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News has a second batch of classified documents are found. Even his fellow Democrats want answers. Senator Mark Warner tells Fox.
We ought to be briefed in terms of, from an intelligence assessment, what were in these documents that then Vice President Biden had.
Sources tell Fox News that aides to the president actually discovered at least another batch of classified documents. The latest discovery comes after it was revealed on Monday that aides found other classified documents at a private office at the Biden Penn Center here in Washington, D.C.
Fox's Kevin Cork. Some Republicans want a special counsel to investigate. Like was appointed to probe the classified materials the FBI seized from former President Trump's Florida resort. GOP Congressman Mike Turner tells Fox.
It just really does underscore the concerns that we have of the abuse of power of the raid on Mar-a-Lago. The manner in which these two issues are handled is that contrast is very troubling.
There are more than 500 flight delays this morning, maybe a ripple effect from the FAA outage yesterday that grounded planes for hours, delaying more than 10,000 flights.
After a malfunction of their notice-to-air mission system. This is what alerts pilots of hazards and safety issues. In a tweet Wednesday night, the FAA said they'd preliminarily traced the issue to a damaged database file.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Russia's replaced its lead general in the Ukraine invasion after Russia lost some ground in recent months amid Ukrainian counteroffensives. The U.S. insists a price cap imposed on Russian oil is hurting its economy, and more of that is coming.
In meetings across Europe this week, U.S. Treasury officials are thrashing out the details of the next set of sanctions due to come into effect next month. They'll include price limits on more products of the Russian oil industry. Some experts think this will have a double impact, damaging the Russian economy and increasing the global cost of oil.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Next hour, we're going to get an update on inflation, expected to show it continues to get a bit tamer with a slower year-over-year increase last month. America's listening to Fox News.
You've heard me discuss how my everyday aches and pains were affecting my daily life before I started taking Relief Factor. You've also heard me talk to you about how my friends and family have found relief from their aches and pains with Relief Factor. Well, let me tell you about Gary from California. Gary says, "I cannot thank you enough. I am 62 years old and have just started taking Relief Factor. I've never felt better and will recommend Relief Factor to all my baby boomer friends." Well, thanks for writing, Gary. 3 weeks from now, you could be doing the things you enjoy doing. Your first step to living the life you love, free from aches and pains, could just be to order the 3-week Quick Start for only $19.95. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Live your best life and feel the difference. with Relief Factor.
Mostly cloudy skies, 32 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's Epic January Clearance Sale. You can save up to 70% on furniture and mattresses, closeouts, one-of-a-kinds, and more. Shop My Carl's today in the New Hartford Shopping Center or Destiny USA. Utica police continue to investigate a homicide that occurred on Eagle Street on the 100 block yesterday. Police say that a man approached the fire station on Park Ave and said that there was a man who needed help down the road. During the investigation, the original man came back to the residence and became belligerent with officers. Ultimately, he was taken into custody. Police have not released that individual's name or identified the victim. Again, this happened yesterday morning on the 100 block of Eagle Street. Stay tuned to WIBX. We'll bring you more information as it becomes available. Utica police also looking into an accident on Court Street last night that involved a pedestrian being struck. Police have not released details on that incident at this time. The Supreme Court is allowing New York tickers during an ongoing legal challenge. That means New York's ban on guns in sensitive areas like schools, parks, and Times Square will. The Supreme Court denied a request from a group of gun owners to immediately pause the state's regulation